Gillespie. We're going to talk about Alabama's finances and what that means to the different programs. We're going to talk about Charles Bediako because I took the word of someone else that he was good for the rest of the year. I thought we were going to have him throughout the – well, hold on. I haven't even started yet. And new tight ends coach. All that coming up, brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, two amazing golf courses, a Dancing Rabbit. It feels like golf season right now. Also, we're going to be out there for March Madness. You guys come and hang. He's got a lot to say. He's got a lot to answer for after this. All right, there he is, national champion at Alabama, national champion at Florida State, but not very good at explaining how players can stay eligible. What the hell? What the hell? Charles Bediako, you had me. I get off the show. I'm like, we got this, baby. We got this.
We'll go watch. We'll go replay that tape and figure out who is confirming what. But
you said we had this. What happened? He's ineligible now. And then I message you. I'm like, hey, your guy's ineligible. And you give me the, what guy? Oh, okay.
I guess I got rickrolled or whatever,
What a shame, man. I hate that, like, all of a sudden you got 100 players doing the same crap, but for some reason Charles Bediako's the one that the NCAA wants out, right? And the commissioner of the SEC, shut up, dude. Just shut up. Like, I saw your statements and everything else. I'm going to just put it right here for you. Shut up. Like, this is what's going on in college sports. Like, everybody, it's not just Alabama. I mean, these other coaches can say what they want, and then they got a whole roster of pros from Europe. Do I want collegiate sports, Jake, to be pro? No, but don't tell me that Alabama and Charles Bediako is the only school doing this when there's 100 of them. It's my take. That's it.
Yeah, well, until there's a defined definition that's fair across the board, and you're sitting there talking. The argument that pisses me off the most is it's taking spots away from high school kids. I mean, it is what it is at this point, and Europeans are taking spots from high school kids too.
Yeah,
that's clearly defined that's just okay. You're good with that. So don't come in here with that garbage about high school kids losing spots. That's just that's as much of a bullshit argument as I've heard.
Bringing the heat today, pal. We're bringing the heat today. Didn't stop Alabama against Mississippi, Ole Miss, but I don't know. And then they're saying that they might not count the games that he played in. Give me.
He
wasn't even that big of a deal.
Well, I think we lost. We lost the first two that he was in. So I mean, it's not
smoked by Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but and again, now I'm spooked on reporting what I've read because
Reporter Jake. Just break some more news for us today, would you?
Yeah.
I just want to play the breaking news music. From his Mobile, Alabama news studios with breaking news.
Misinformation specialist. Misinformation specialist over here.
Bryant Coker reporting from Mobile.
Maybe I knew the whole time. I was just moving the needle a little bit, putting the pressure on that judge.
Man, I don't think I'm just messing with you. I don't think anybody believed it. And look, Commissioner, if you're watching this, I'm just half of what I say. I'm just joking. So don't come down on the next round or me. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean you can.
There's a little truth in there. There's a little truth in there.
I mean, at this point, I don't. You got kids playing for 7 years. It's until the NCAA and or some real laws are passed where there's continuity and a clear message or clear rules across the board. Then I'm just kind of done with worrying about what's right and wrong in terms of eligibility. I mean, Nobody knows the rules. Hell, you watch a college game nowadays. Nobody knows the targeting rules. I mean, it's the most frustrating thing. It's the most frustrating thing to watch when you can watch the same hit, in the first quarter and the third quarter. One guy gets thrown out of the game. The referee on TV, Steratore, like, this is clear targeting, and then he gets left in the game. There's no flag, and then third quarter, same shit happens. Steratore saying this is not targeting. Then the guy gets thrown out.
Yeah, right.
I mean, none of y'all know. Y'all have no idea. You're all full of shit, and I'm tired of it.
Hey, you remember when Alabama played Tennessee, Saban's last trip there? It was like 22.
Oh yeah,
Bryce Young got absolutely targeting, but then like the Las Vegas called the refs, and they're like, we don't need this to be targeting, guys. Go ahead and wave this off, okay? That is not targeting, and you're watching. It's like one guy comes in, crown of the helmet on him. One guy's got his leg. Like it was so targeting.
Oh yeah. And then, I mean, and the craziest one is when the running backs or whoever the runner of the ball obviously ducks their helmet, and then you've got a defender coming up and trying to make a tackle. Like, what's he supposed to do outside of put his head down and like protect himself?
Yeah.
Take it, just get speared in the chest.
Yeah, right. I agree, man. I agree. Look, all valid points. And the train wreck that is college athletics right now is unbelievable. I mean, like it's just when you think that it can't get worse. And I know some of you guys are going, look, Bama contributed to that with the Bediako thing. I've read your comments, and I'm not disagreeing. I never thought, to be honest with you, it made sense. But there's 100 other guys that don't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's one of those where it's like, hell, why not try? I mean, it's at this point, this day and age, if there's a line that can be crossed or tiptoed up against, just try it. I mean, hell, who cares at this? I mean, at this point, you got 26-year-olds playing. I mean, Indiana, they're following the rules, but again, they're as old as an NFL roster.
Yeah, right. Around that. Yeah, and it's a smart move, and that's we're going to get into the financials next because this is a topic that I've been on for a while. But let me tell you guys this before we go there, before we transition, that we are proudly presented by Patriot Roofing and Builders. Man, these guys got you covered. And I'm telling you, you're doing some work to your house. You got to have people you trust. 205-919-4491. Look, you don't have to do it, but you can get free inspections from Will and Justin. And when you call, they're going to answer. And they do roofing. They do, and they're licensed for that, for really everything. Roofing, siding, gutters, windows, full renovations. Jake and I have both been kind of dabbling in this area. Jake a little bit more than me. And it's a lot of work, and it is super stressful. So you want people that you can trust, that you can count on, that are going to make that the entire process easier. Plus quick too. You want a time frame that works, right? Like you tell me you're going to be there on Tuesday, by golly, I expect you to be there on Tuesday. And a lot of contractors have a different calendar than the regular people. I think we can both agree on that. But that's why I'm telling you guys about our buddies over at Patriot Roofing and Builders. So check them out.
Who's going to give you the least amount of headache?
That's it, man. That's it. And answer your call.
Because it's going to suck no matter what.
Yeah, I'm not. And listen, I wasn't directing anything at you. Okay, so just know that I already came at you pretty hard with the Bediako stuff. But reading the comments, I think I went light on you. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say. All right, I'm joking because you'll think about that all day. I didn't even read the comments, to be honest with you. I've just, with my ESPN, I can just tell.
Hey, I skipped the comments on that one. I didn't want to see
you
it.
put the show out. I was like, oh God, I hope people just watch the part about your big deer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
yeah. I got a feeling those comments are going to be similar to post Ole Miss comments.
Yeah. Reminds me that comment reminds me of when we threw those Pearl River Resort fluff. What are those things called? Like foam footballs into the crowd at Innisfree. I wanted you to throw one to my favorite bartender, and you short-armed it, and then a guy hit it, and it got deflected, and another guy caught it. And I said that kind of reminded me of Ole Miss.
Yeah, you always got my back.
Yeah, I did. Well, look, man, how many times have I taken hits? Now let me change this, because this is something that, like, Bama's got to spend more money. I'm just telling you guys that. I know every time I bring this up, everybody gets like angry at me because you don't want to pay these guys anymore. You don't think they deserve it. You don't like having college guys showing up but this is the world we live in right now. If you want Alabama to compete for championships and not just show up to the tournament, but to be able to beat Ohio State, to be able to beat Michigan, to be able to beat LSU, you're going to have to spend money. I mean, one of the reasons Lane Kiffin left was because of the money, right? The money on the roster. And Alabama has one of the biggest stadiums. We have one of the biggest fan bases. We don't have the big boosters. So then this comes up on AL.com, and to me, it's like a great illustration of what's going on here. So football makes $64 million, right? Men's basketball, $9 million. Women's basketball lost over $4.5 million. Baseball lost about $4.5 million. Like, you take that $10 million and you put it towards the roster, all of a sudden now you're right there where you need to be. Now I broadcasted both of these sports for Alabama in the past, and this is not a indictment of women's basketball or baseball. I remember a time when Jim Wells was coaching baseball and we used to win. That's because I'm an OG at this point now. In women's basketball, like, they're in the top 25. Since Christy Curry's been the coach, they haven't won anything. I look at softball and I'm like, softball's on that list, but at least they're champions, right? At least they've won the SEC a bunch of times. They're always in the mix to go to Oklahoma City. They've won a national championship under Coach Murph. Like, there's a part of me that's like, the $4.5 million that you're wasting on something no one cares about doesn't hurt as bad when you win something. Baseball hasn't sniffed a championship since like 2006, right? Maybe 2011, when Mitch Gaspard and Alabama lost in the Super Regional at Clemson. I mean, these are sports that they're barely competitive. When I look at this, let me put it back up again. The bottom line is and some of you guys are going to argue with me about Title IX, and I know, and then some of you are going to be like, this shouldn't matter and all that. If we talked about anything on here other than football and a little bit of men's basketball, you guys would tune out. If I talked men's tennis, if he talked women's tennis, if we talked men or women's golf, if we talked women's basketball, even if we talked baseball, you guys don't care. And to me, if this is turned into pro athletics and Alabama is trying to get an edge, they've got to figure out how to get that chart to make more financial sense, so that we're not just coming in at, whatever, like $20 million. If it takes 40 to compete with Texas and Ohio State, as much as I hate to say it, we got to get there, because I'm looking at this roster right now. I'm looking at what we lost, what we got back, and where we are. And I'm going to tell you guys, I am scared to death. I just am.
Well, this is what I've been talking about for months, or really probably years since this happened. I mean, all this NIL stuff, we don't have the funds. And the only way that revenue chart looks like that for football is if we keep winning,
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, the money that is used by Alabama, obviously we have had better facilities than most other teams or organizations across the country, for a long time. And that money was built. I mean, a lot of that money was geared towards player performance, player facilities, lifestyle of players. When I walked into that Alabama facility, I was blown away at just the amount of support staff, the amenities you had. There was nothing you needed while you were at Alabama. I mean, you could potentially say you could do it a little less probably. But I don't know how, that money is going to have to be geared towards these players somehow. And you're going to see a lot more NFL style, facilities where, I walk into the Arizona Cardinals facility, and that place, I mean, look, it was nice. It got the job done, but in comparison to Alabama, it was a total shithole.
Right.
I mean, it was nowhere near the comparison that Alabama was. Just from an infrastructure standpoint, from the amount of personnel in that building, the support just wasn't even close to what Alabama was. And it's going to take kind of a restructuring, in my opinion, of where those funds go in order to get guys within the transfer portal. And I'm still kind of confused on. I guess I got to do my homework on where exactly this money is coming from that's paying these players. I mean, we obviously know where some of it's coming. A lot of it's coming, and that's donors, that's big boosters. But I can't remember. There's been so much change and up and down and about revenue sharing and all that, and I'm not well versed in all that to really talk about it. But you're going to have to find a way to pay these football players, basketball players, with the revenues generated from these sports.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to find a way to cut back on these sports that are losing. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
The coaches are overpaid. I looked at women's basketball when Wendell Hudson was there, and I thought, I worked with him. He was awesome, right? He's a legend at Alabama. It was great having him around. Whether Wendell's there or whoever's there, no one's coming to the games anyway. So it's not like, no, we didn't win anything. Well, we still haven't won anything. But I loved what he represented at the university, the walk that he made, the way that you had somebody there that really showed the best of Alabama, really, just personality and experience and all of that stuff, and then they got rid of him, and then they brought in Christy Curry, and it's like, well, we just got like a women's basketball program, and here's a coach, but we haven't won anything, and there's no scrutiny on it, and I've talked about this on here before. I've said the same thing about these sports. I don't need AL.com to throw up the number, but when you look at it in person, you're like, why not pay $100,000 and get somebody else to coach? Maybe you don't have somebody that, you don't need all of this. It's overkill. Paying somebody like $500,000 to coach a team that hasn't won a championship ever, and they don't even compete for SEC titles. They get in the tournament. They're 1 or 2 games out. They're not like Nate Oates is amazing, right? Like, we talked about this before. Could not have a better coach. And he's generating revenue because of the fact that we play everybody and the program's in great shape. I don't feel like that about these other programs.
Yeah, I wonder what that looked like before Nate Oates was here.
Yeah, it wasn't 10, good.
15 years
not
ago.
Even close. Yeah.
I'm honestly, when I look at that chart, I'm surprised that the surplus is $32 million, because I cannot believe, the expenses for – I can't believe the expenses for baseball is only $6.5 million. And I don't know what non-program specific. That to me, those expenses include the new additions to the baseball stadium a few years ago, or I don't know what's included in all that.
Travel. It's travel. It's salaries. It's coaching salaries. Yeah, facility. With these programs, there's enough colleges in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee that you can play, and you don't have to travel that far, right? It's like, well, Title IX says that we get everything that the men get, but you haven't won anything, and that's the problem that I have with women. That's why I'm not saying much about softball. I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, softball, same way. No, softball at least competes for championships. And if you're going to wear that A, you need to be competing for a championship. Or if we're not going to compete, let's get that down to even. Let's have an even budget for women's basketball, right? Like, and then let's figure out a way to put that money towards extra linemen, a better running back, maybe some offensive linemen that can block, and some running backs that can help them block. Because we're spending a lot of money on coaching right now. I say, well, that's not legal. Well, look, Alabama gets a lot of donations. Those donations just need to be moved to different spots. If we need to put a tax on our tickets, then that may have to happen. But where we are right now, when I look at some of our best players transferring, I look at what we're bringing in, the fact that players think that it's better to go to Texas than it is to play at Alabama. I look at the schedule for next year and I'm like, man, it feels 8-4 to me. And I like Kalen DeBoer, but man, I just feel like we're kind of getting closer and closer to the edge. When Bama won, it's because Nick Saban was there. Nick Saban dominated recruiting, and we had depth. We don't have that anymore. The way that you get that is by spending money. And when your resources are going to this stuff, you know, like this stuff, like, I'm sorry, if this has become professional sports, none of this business-wise makes sense. Tennis, golf, men's and women's, I guess, track and field, volleyball, gymnastics, soccer, softball. Oh, there's men's track and field. So whatever S&D is, rowing, baseball, and women's basketball all need to go.
Swimming and diving.
Swimming and diving. Okay. Or do it at the club level, and let's put our resources towards the stuff that matters, which is football. Because that's the only thing any of you care about.
Yeah.
That's it. And men's basketball. Sorry.
It's gonna force a tough conversation on Title IX. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll say this, and I know that some of you guys are getting mad at me right now. I'm not saying I don't appreciate women's sports. I actually loved being the broadcaster for women's basketball. It was fun. Like, I learned how to broadcast basketball.
Imagine those schools just South Alabama. I mean, imagine those schools that don't have that surplus in football, that it may be the only thing that makes them money, but you're looking at, $4 to $6 million instead of, what is it, 64? I mean,
well, here financially, Jake, and I'm going to say this too. I spent a lot of time in Knoxville, and I watched their football program go down the toilet. And all of a sudden it started to affect all the businesses around Knoxville. Cumberland Avenue, places going out of business. Fans not coming to town. Now they're winning again. People are excited. They're spending money. They're doing stuff that we have to pay attention to. They're putting a business district inside of Neyland Stadium so that on game days, they're generating revenue with the idea of taking some of that money and putting it towards NIL. We have to be proactive. That's how we got to where we got to.
Yeah.
Coach Moore was like, "Hey, we can build facilities. Let's build them better than everybody else." We're falling behind, man. It's so easy to see.
Well, and you think about those property values around Tuscaloosa as well. I mean, my gosh, the amount of money that people are spending on condos around there. I mean, in the millions of dollars for those nicer ones.
Yep. Hey, it's going to be dropping if we see that Alabama that played against Georgia and Indiana rolling out this year, and we start losing to LSU and we start losing to Auburn. Thank God we've beaten them.
Well,
thank God they're worse than we are. I mean,
again, I mean, to me, it's hard to justify paying these guys as well. But the long lasting effects of the issues it's going to create, especially if we get that reputation for not paying players, and Kalen DeBoer, ends up not winning because he can't pull these guys. So, some of them, look, some of these guys, it's not all about the money, and I think he's doing a great job of getting those guys. But there's look, look at our roster, the guys that left for money this year. Isaiah Horton, one of the most productive receivers in the country, probably the country, definitely at Alabama. I mean, he's got it made in Tuscaloosa, and he's out after 1 year. I mean, just gone, and it's obviously. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know what he's getting paid, but based on where he's going, he's getting paid a pretty good. He's getting paid a pretty good amount. So,
well,
for a lot of these guys, money is the issue. That's
right.
the only thing that they're playing for, and that's a high percentage. And I can't blame some of them, honestly. And we get that reputation for not being able to pay players and what coach is going to come in here knowing that, he's not going to be able to pay guys and get them on campus, and it's ultimately going to, damage his reputation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and I'm looking at this and I'm going, we have become now, we're going to go and get these high school kids. We're going to develop them, and then they're going to transfer and make all this money and go have their best years at Ohio State. Okay, well, now you lost two of your best interior defensive guys, right? Way Rusall and James Smith. You need both of those guys. I don't care what anybody says. You need those two guys. And they're going to go to Ohio State. Okay.
Well, for 2 years, or however long, not specifically those guys, but those high school guys that you bring in, that $64 million allocated to football is the best facilities, the best personnel, trained them up, made them the best player they could possibly be for 2 years. And all that money went to that, and then they're out.
Well, look at the business model too.
Okay? And look, and when I was playing, to have the strength staff we had, the nutrition staff we had, the training room guys. I mean, it was heaven when I was there. You had the best people around you, mentally, talent-wise in their field, and they deserved every bit of what they got paid because, man, they made life awesome in Tuscaloosa when I was there. And so, when I say that, I hate to even say that because those guys deserved every bit of it, It just, again, when you've got money going allocated to sports that aren't making money, it's detrimental to the people that are doing a really good job in championship programs.
Well, look, this is a business, right? How many times have you heard someone say, hey, this is a business? Your business makes $147+ million, right? You spend 82, you still have $64+ million left.
Yeah.
Somehow you end up with $32 million. That's not good business, I guess when you add the basketball in and then you take everything else out. But my point is this, okay? You got, apparently it's $20 million. I don't even know what that even means. It's like $20 million that the university is allowed to spend for paying players. Then boosters are coming in and they're spending, say another $20 million at other schools, and we're at $20 million. They're at 40. Look, it's not going to work, the math. I mean, I'm just telling you, I've spent my life in sports, not just at Alabama. I've been covering Alabama since the 90s. I've been in professional baseball since 2003. I've seen a lot of winning teams, and I've seen a lot of losing teams. And let me tell you, there's one thing in common with all of them. Every single one. I don't care if you got Nick Saban or you have Ryan Sandberg or, you have Joe Madden. And Joe Madden and Rhino were coaches, managers of the Cubs. And then, Nick Saban, Kalen DeBoer. The most important thing that you have on any team is having better players, talent. That's it. Like the rest of it will take care of itself. I know Coach Saban was really good at teaching great players to be great, right? Like, but the roster and the talent were there. When he got to Alabama and we had a bad roster, we had a bad team, right? So he's the best that's ever done it. He still couldn't win enough games with the talent that he had when he took over in 2007. It was like, he's not going to run out there and play these positions. He took great talent and then maximized that talent. But if you have great talent, you're gonna be there. And it just scares me when I look at where we're at right now, and I'm going, man, the alarm bell's going off for me. And then I see that graphic, and I'm like, how do you have a business that generates $147 million, right, according to this, and you pay the people that are producing $20 million. Like, forget about all the rest of it.
I mean, yeah, when you said that's kind of what I'm getting to is again, if you're looking at making budget cuts, you're going to start cutting really good people. I mean, to make up for cutting good people from the successful side of your business. Well, there are big cuts everywhere, but I'm afraid you look around and it's more of an NFL type building where, and look, there's a lot of great people that work in the NFL. You just don't have that level of support. I feel like, that you had at Alabama when I was there. I mean, Florida State, we had great people there, really, really good staff there, but there weren't as many professionals. You had, a lot of GAs and guys coming up through school, but you didn't have quite that amount of like best in their field bodies in that building, able to take care of way more guys. And so, man, I don't know. I'd hate to see people within that football program, basketball program now, be affected by this when they're the ones doing their job at the best of their abilities and better than most in the country.
I feel sorry for the programs that don't make money, and
because you say, look, you want to support all those programs, but at some point, it's almost selfish to say, okay, y'all are successful, y'all are getting penalized by this, and we're not going to allocate more money to football and bring these guys in because we got. I hate to even call it dead weight, but from a business perspective, that is what it is.
Yeah. I work for a guy named Chris Allen, and he's always said this. He's great at business. He's always said, bottom line's the bottom line, right? And the bottom line is that, Christy Curry's Alabama lost $4,669,495. Like, look at that. They generated $700,000 and they spent $5 million, almost $5.5 million. No, that's not how it works. It just isn't. I mean, it just isn't. No business operates like that, or you don't stay in business, right?
Oh yeah, I mean
come on. and then we're losing out on that. And I know you can't I guess
I know you've said this about women's basketball before, but I did not know it was that deep into the hole.
And some people agreed with me, and some people came after me, and it's like, look, man, this isn't a personal attack. This is just, I have a business. Jake, you work in business. The whole idea is that you want to make more money than you spend, right? And sometimes you're close, whatever. This isn't even close. Yeah. It's not, there's no interest in this at all. Yet we're spending this. And so I said, hey, you know what? You got to figure out how to generate interest. Go get a former WNBA player. Go get somebody like South Carolina has and compete for championships. The one thing that Alabama loves is champions. Not I'm going to make, I'll make the tournament and go out in the second round. Look at the way that they're treating Kalen DeBoer. The guy actually won 11 games this year and got in and won a playoff game. Does anybody feel like we had a great season? Anybody out there going, hey, let's go. No, there's an alarm bell going off because we have high expectations. I don't think they're unrealistic. I just think this is Alabama. This is what Alabama's known for winning. There's a sticker on the side of the helmet that has an 18 on it. The minute we win another one, it'll have a 19 on it, right?
Yep.
It's been like that before I got here. It'll be like that after we both leave. And I love it. Absolutely love it. We have the best fans in the world, and we have the best program in the world. Yep. And I love our expectations are championship or bust.
And Nate Oates has come in and changed the expectation for college basketball.
He has.
I mean, you look on Twitter during an Alabama basketball game, and you see commentary similar to what Alabama football is. I mean, when we lost to Florida, people were up in arms, pissed off about the effort, which the effort was. It looked horrible. That was a terrible loss. But it was good to see. I mean, Nate Oates, you got to feel pretty good about the commentary you're seeing, because when I was in school, Anthony Grant was the head coach. I mean, we'd lose to Southern Miss, and it was like, I mean, whatever, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But now you've got that. I'd love to see what that revenue split looked like 10 years ago. But, I mean, this is Alabama basketball being on a resurgence is awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's talk some basketball. Let me tell you guys this, though. That we're brought to you by the Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City. Our guy Keith out there has you covered. You want to get away? This is the spot. It's beautiful. Our friend Jim Dunaway was amazed when the Next Round did their show there, just how big and luxurious this hotel is, right on the water at Ocean City. The Next Round's done their show before, and Keith is a huge Alabama fan. He needs you guys to come up there and bring some of that Roll Tide magic to him. A little Alabama ambiance out there on the OC coast. But look, I grew up going there. It's really one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's why I love the beach to this day. It's why I live at the beach, honestly.
What was Dunaway doing out there? What was he? He's out there. I feel like he's a kind of guy. He's like a bird watcher. I feel like he's that kind of
guy. He's got the binoculars.
You see him out there.
Everybody be quiet. There's a gooseneck crane right there. over by that. They're one of the most elusive birds on this side.
Hey, get the camera.
What if Dunaway was really like one of these guys that, like, you don't think he's that wild, and then all of a sudden he's like the guy from Old School, from The Hangover, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, it's a couple drinks and like, I've never really hung out with him like that. I don't know.
Dunaway streaking across that causeway over there.
Watch this, guys.
Lance is just like, Dunaway's out again.
We've invited him.
Lost Dunaway.
We've invited Dunaway on the podcast. Standing invitations. We want to do the Dunaway uncensored.
The Dunaway roast.
He's pretty funny though. He'll come back at you with some stuff you might.
Oh yeah, like. I wouldn't want to let him have the mic.
Oh man, we should go with them to Residence Inn and like just all of us do our shows out there and then hang out, go to Secrets, that really cool beach bar, or the Boardwalk. You ever been to a Boardwalk before?
I was looking into also, just and this is a Chat GPT research real quick before the show, just because I was interested. And you don't really know the 2026 roster yet, but I was kind of playing around with the roster and who's the projected starters, and it looks like we're going to have the majority of our starting roster is going to be transfer portal guys.
Scary.
Like total roster, I think, is like 75% high school guys, but then you look at the starters and it's over 50%. And literally the only way you're battling other schools in the transfer portal now is with money. I mean, that is it. I think you can probably keep some of your guys around, paying them less money just because they, have built an infrastructure or built a footing at Alabama or in Tuscaloosa. But it's just scary to think that most of our starters are going to be transfers, and again, the big play there is money. And if the trend is already the majority of your starters are transfer portal guys, what does that tell you? I mean,
yeah, it tells me that I'm telling you exactly what I'm saying right now.
Well, I was hoping to look into these projections and see, maybe 20% of the starters are portal guys, but it ain't looking good.
I mean, who are you building this roster around? I mean, Michael Carroll, good player.
Kalen Russell and Michael Carroll.
Right. It's got
and Ryan Williams.
Kalen
Russell, Michael Carroll, Ryan Williams. I mean,
yeah, right.
Potentially Potentially Austin Mack. I mean, I hate to be that guy that goes ahead and rules him out due to just public perception, but based on what you hear and what you see, Kalen Russell. I mean,
well, if you're gonna throw him to the Wolves, I mean, now's the time to do it because you got this roster that no one's even played together before. You know, and it's like it's not like Alabama was ranked number 1 in the transfer portal like LSU. We were down in the low 20 or in the 20s.
Yeah.
The high school kids aren't helping you that much anymore. You know, so you could look at the Indiana model and go, you know what, we're just going to kill it with scouting.
Yeah, if you've got
less development, but guys that are ready.
If you've got a high school kid playing year 1, year 2, I mean, Ryan Williams last year, true freshman, playing against Indiana this year. Hell, just this year alone, he's almost a decade younger than those guys on the Indiana team.
Yep.
I mean, how crazy is that to think about?
I don't know. I think he's going to have a good year, man. I really do. I think last year was. I think he's going to work on the catching and all that. He's going to. I'm really confident in him, and I love Cedric Morgan too. Or Cedarian Morgan. I love the talent of some of these young guys, but you still have to have the Isaiah Hortons.
Latsier Brooks is. I mean, he was phenomenal last year.
Yeah.
He is going to be huge this year.
Yeah.
With those 3 guys, I think. I mean, Cedarian Morgan's obviously going to take a little time, but again, and talking to Ryan Grubb, I mean, he absolutely loves Cedarian Morgan, and he loves Ryan Williams. I think Ryan Williams coming into that more of a leadership role this year with Jeremy Bernard is really going to elevate him to the next level. Because look, Ryan Williams, probably the most talented of those 3, Isaiah Horton and Jeremy Bernard and him. But, again, when you're the youngest guy in that room, I feel like it, to a certain degree can kind of suppress the mentality. Now he's, I guess, what is he going to be, the oldest guy in that room now? Because Latsier Brooks is younger than him. Cedarian Morgan will be younger. Trying to think of maybe older guys. Was Rico Scott, are they the same age, him and Rico Scott? Either way, so. Ryan Williams is going to be the tone setter now. So he's going to have to grow up a lot. And I think that, him being that guy, giving him that new role, football is really going to have to dominate his line of thinking. Otherwise, he's got to grow mentally this year. Has to.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he's going to be one of those guys that's kind of pushed to the side.
Yeah. Alabama hired the offensive line coach from Louisville, Richard Owens, as tight ends coach. So I see what they're doing. Like, you guys, I think we all like Kalen DeBoer. I don't think there's anybody here that pulls against Kalen DeBoer. I think we all like him. I think one of the nicest parts about him is that he pays attention to stuff when it needs to be done. He'll do it, right? Like, and one of those things is like he's addressing the offensive line situation. Like they've hired, now you got 2 offensive line coaches. One's going to be doing tight ends, one's O-line, and then obviously Ryan Grubb's known for that. They have to get that right. They have to. I was watching highlights of the 2017 Bama comeback win against Mississippi State. Our friend Cruz put it on his site, or his socials. And I'm watching Bama run the ball straight ahead. Like the blocking up front was beautiful. We didn't have that this year. We didn't have any of that. Like there was no like 25-yard touchdown runs and, gaping holes and all of that stuff. Like it was like we were running into a line of just a bunch of dudes with no creases. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just got to have that ruthless mentality back, ruthless physicality. And, I think it's as probably more important to have an offensive lineman type mindset for tight ends as well. I mean, Keelan Russell's you're going to have to be able to run the ball with Keelan Russell or Austin Mack having their first year starting. I mean, you have to run the ball and take pressure off a first-year starter. You just have to. You got to give them time to grow. Running the ball, being able to run the ball hides a lot of holes in your offense. I mean, You can run it consistently. You don't have to be quite as precise in the pass game. And I mean, Ty was able to overcome a lot of that due to his experience, his knowledge, just his poise. But and I think Kalen Russell, Austin Mack, I mean, I'm sure they're high character, high poise guys too. We haven't seen them on the field. But I don't care who you are, first year starting, you need a little help. And I mean, look, Ty had been there for that was his fourth year. So, had a lot more experience than these two other guys, at least within the program. Mm-hmm. And, was able to overcome a lot of that, but they're going to have some help this year. You're not going to be able to just sit them back there and hope they make all the right decisions, not having started a game.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like even with 11 wins, which, that's nothing to scoff at, 11-win season, but I don't feel like that the team that we saw down the stretch this year, it was a team that was, and then, I don't look in retrospect. I mean, after the way that we got handed our lunch by Indiana, you look at it and you go, man, that's what you need to be. And where we were wasn't where you need to be, So it's like, okay, how do we get to that? And then the scary thing is well, what if we take a step back, And that's why I'm saying, hey, the money matters. You got to be able to, instead of us going out and being, trying to fight for our guys. And I know Courtney Morgan feels like part of this, and he's got a good reason. He's like, look, when you are successful and you play into December and into January, the market isn't set yet, right? Because your team's still playing, and maybe you don't have a full view of the whole thing, right? And that makes sense to me. And that what I mean by that is if you're still playing, are you talking to your guys about contract extensions? Don't you want to know what's out there? You're focused on winning. So I get that part of it. But we have to have the ammunition, which is the money, to be able to get the best of the best. And what other schools are doing, and it's not fair, and Dabo brought it up, but they're going picking the best players off of other rosters. But you have to have resources to do that.
Yep.
And as lousy and crappy as that is, and what Pete Golding did is wrong, he got away with it because they're not going to do anything about it. So guess what? That means that there is no rule. No one's going to enforce it. It's the Wild West. So you either be a better gunfighter or you're going to be dead.
Yep. No, that's the name of the game now. There's and it's kind of tough to put a ton of pressure. Going back to one of my points earlier, kind of with getting that, taking on that perception of not paying players. It's kind of hard to put pressure on your coaches when they don't have the resources to just say, hey, we'll match that pay and come to Alabama. If you can't say that for a lot of these guys, then, they're not in a winning position. And it's tough. I'm sitting here saying that. I'm not I don't have the money to pay these players. There's a very select group that does. And, that comes down to the athletic director finding a way to get the money out of these guys, putting the money in the right spot.
Well, look, first off, there is money. There's a lot of it. Look at this. It's there, right? There's a ton of money. Now, the model that we've been using, the business model that we're using right now, it doesn't work. And Bama's going to have to be creative. And I know some of you guys get on Greg Byrne when he's kind of out there saying, hey, we don't have these resources. But the part of the reason why, Greg, that the fans are frustrated is that you guys have been hitting them with all these added fees. You got to pay tax to get your tickets. It's not like you just buy a ticket. You got to pay the tax to get the ticket to buy the expensive ticket. You get there, and the concession stands are run by amateurs. The seats aren't comfortable. You want to charge big money, you need to provide big amenities, and Alabama hasn't figured that out, and a lot of schools haven't. So what my suggestion is these deals that you've worked out with Learfield and the marketing and all that stuff, you need to rework those deals. The Yay Alabama stuff, You know, I don't hear a lot of people acting like they're really excited about it. I don't know how to make them excited about it, but you got a resource in a guy that you know well, and Nick Saban. You're paying him $500,000. You know, like that. You need to figure out how to maximize that resource, because if you pay somebody $500,000, then that means the revenue that they generate to make business sense needs to be how much, right? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so I'm going to give you $500,000. That means I need to make $6 million off of you. How do you do that? Well, everybody in this state wants a picture with that guy. Everybody wants to go see him talk. You know, everybody, like, he's an idol. Alabama needs to maximize that. Figure out how it works for him and how it works for the people that have money. The only way Alabama is going to succeed financially is that because we don't have the major boosters, is that the individual fans are going to have to get excited and feel comfortable about contributing. That's how we can win this. But right now, guys, and I can read your comments and know you're not going to like me saying this, but it feels like we're going the wrong direction. When I'm looking at LSU's roster, when I look at what Ohio State did, when I look at Indiana, and I look at us, and I'm going, man, that schedule should be like a 11-2 schedule coming up next year. Feels like it might be an 8-4. And how about if it's worse than 8-4? How is that going to?
Well,
is that going to make everybody feel?
Yeah, I know. I got you. At the same time, though, and
talk me off the ledge, Jake. Just do it.
At the same time, you look at Indiana last year. A lot of those guys that came in. Now, I'm not sure how old a lot of these transfer guys are. I mean, I'm seeing that one guy from Mississippi State. What's his name? He just got his 7th year. I don't know how old these guys are, but you don't. Indiana, it's not like they brought in. They didn't, just Texas and Texas A&M everybody, Ohio State everybody. They didn't, bring in all these top-notch transfers from Alabama, Texas, Georgia. I mean, they brought in older guys with a lot of experience, and they played clean football.
Right. You're talking about Kendrick Bingley Jones.
Yeah, the guys. I mean, they came out of nowhere. I mean, they were undefeated last year too during the regular season, I believe, weren't they?
Who's that?
Maybe they lost one game. Indiana.
Oh no, they won every game this year, all of them.
No. But last year, the year prior. To that.
Yeah, they lost one game. No, 2 games last year, right? Because they lost in the championship game, and then they lost in the playoff. Let me double check that, but I think they lost twice.
But no one really expected them to win the national championship this year too. I mean, hell, everybody thought Ohio State would beat them in the Big Ten championship.
Except me, because I picked Indiana.
So, I mean, again, I think today's day and age, it's kind of like basketball got to be. Kentucky with John Calipari. He had a bunch of one and dones. It got to where he had so many one and dones that they didn't have any continuity, not a lot of older guys. And, the latter part of his career at Kentucky, I mean, they didn't win a ton of national championships, but I think those schools, those basketball schools, especially you had a bunch of those Cinderella teams because they had older players. They knew how to play together. I mean, they ended up experience won over talent a lot of times.
They lost twice, Ohio State and Notre Dame.
Okay. So
they were competitive in both of those games. I guess Ohio State got them a little worse.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer. I mean, again, the portal class doesn't blow your mind by any means, but if he got the right guys, the guys that are coachable, the guys that are in the right spot, and have kind of been hidden gems throughout their career in college, I mean, we could be in an okay spot. That's the positive I'm taking away with this.
Look, man, this is the hard part about being a guy that's been following Alabama football since Gene Stallings. When you have a bunch of question marks, it's never good. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to tell you, when Saban showed up and every year the season would end and you start doing the math on the roster, you're like, you either had like a ton of guys on defense or a ton of guys on offense. And I thought, well, Alabama's defense is going to be really good. And then all of a sudden you start seeing guys transfer. Then you're like, well, you know what? We got a couple receivers. And then all of a sudden, Isaiah Horton's rolling out on you. And it's like, so we got We got
there were a lot of question
starters
marks
back on offense. Like
there were a lot of question marks in 2015. 9 new starters on offense.
Dude. Yeah, but the defense that year. Oh my God! I mean, come on, man. You guys, like, we knew that you might have trouble in a couple games. But that defense was run that roster on defense. You know, I love Jonathan Allen. He's one of my 4 all-time favorite Bama players. And there were like 6 other guys that probably felt like they were just as good as Jonathan Allen.
I thought I'd sneak that one by you.
No, see, the Saban era never had. After 2007, every year you would look at the roster and be like, man, it's pretty stout, you know, when you start comparing it. This is the first time in a long time. Even last year, I felt really good about the roster. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. So anyway, I don't know. It's February. We got a long way to go. I just felt like after my vacation and that whooping by Indiana and a lot of thinking that I would kind of tell you guys where I'm at. That's where I'm at, man. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong, but I think that we got to figure out a way to have more of the cash come into football, you know, on that roster. I mean, I wonder what an impact, like, would an extra 10 million get us like kind of back to where we're able to keep Isaiah Horton, where we're able to keep James Smith and Quay Russaw. I mean, like, and then we can go out and snag some guys. You know, why aren't we taking guys like Caleb Downs from other rosters?
I mean,
you know?
Yeah, he's. I mean, 10 million was kind of what I was thinking. I mean, in the back of my mind as we're talking, I was like, man, if you cut 2 of those, you know, you got $10 million back to the bottom line and just spent that on football players. I mean, you're talking probably retaining 5 of those guys potentially, and then, you know, you get 5 more really good prospects from other schools.
Yeah, right. Then you're Ohio State.
That's half your roster. I mean, that's 10.
You're letting other schools develop your players for
the roster.
Yeah. All right, last thing, a nice win for basketball. Oh, let me say this, Jake.
So, Jake, let's break down some game tape.
Hold on, fellas. Steve.
Hey, Jake, you ready to rock?
Let's roll, brother.
Guess we're calling plays at Pearl River Resort. Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped. Man, they're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me till Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ain't gonna face reality.
I tell you, Jake's still got game. While Steve keeps rocking aces. Boom, Jake seals it with a pick.
Come call your own plays
at Pearl River Resort. Let's roll.
I don't have to be me till Monday.
All right, hey, we went to Steve Azar's golf tournament, and guys, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. That was Steve Azar and his song. That's Jay Coker. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa to do the Dancing Rabbit golf course, to do the table games and slots, the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is a Vegas-style sports book. That's right in your backyard, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. We love it over there. We're going to be there soon for our March Madness show. All right, but let me say this, Jake. Remember when we were at Steve Azar's Delta Soul Golf tournament, and the guy is like, one guy's like showing us how to use the iPhone, and then the other guy looks at him and goes, "Oh, he works at the Apple store." Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy that was actually the one he said worked at the Apple store is a guy is a 44-year-old Team USA snowboarder in his 5th Olympics, Nick Baumgartner. And Nick, I watched Nick on TV today snowboarding in the Olympics.
He got out of the Apple store.
Yeah, he got out of the Apple store. He's like the oldest dude. Like I didn't realize they had like races on snowboards and all kind of stuff. Like, man, that's cool. But he's a good guy. Like, it was weird seeing him on on TV. Steve's like telling us in the group chat, and then you turn it on, and it's like, here he is, like,
Yeah, he was a good time too. He looked like he. I mean, you got to be kind of crazy to hop on that snowboard and haul ass down a mountain. But
oh yeah,
I thought. I mean, he looked like an MMA fighter.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Well, good luck to him. I don't know how many more events he has or if it's over for him, but it's really cool seeing him out there. Yeah, I don't think he's going to medal, but he had a chance to come in fourth, maybe. I don't know. It's been fun watching the Olympics. I haven't watched a whole lot of it, but I do love any kind of sporting event that includes the entire world.
Still be out there at 44 doing it. Pretty impressive. Yeah. Hell, I'm 33. My back just went out on me. So
yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, some of us are built different.
Yeah, some of us have to drink gluten-free beers.
By the way, I got a whole freezer full the next time you come over. All right, now let's talk about the men's basketball team. I think that these guys are starting to putting it all together. So anyway, Bama basketball, big win. I think they're putting it together even without Bediako. I think this is where they're going to start making their moves here. What do you think?
I mean, as long as we shoot like we did last night against Ole Miss, I think we were shooting like high 30% from three, 17 to 44, whatever that is. Old Trilly just filling it up. Everybody, I mean, that's the thing about us, man. If we shoot greater than 30% from three, we're going to be okay. It's just what makes me nervous about tournament play is, for us, we got to be hot every game, and just hard to be consistent that way. But I've said that from day one, and we made it to the Final Four 2 years ago. I think we've been to the Sweet 16 just about every year Nate Oates has been there, except for maybe year one.
Right. Well, some winnable games. South Carolina on Saturday.
The one thing we're missing is another big man. Bediako was kind of the answer to that. But having said that, we lost the first two games he came back for. So I don't know.
Yeah, two of the first three.
Yeah, but Cheryl, he seemed to play pretty well last night. He's gotten a lot better since last year.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you get pushed aside like that, puts a little fire under you. Maybe, some of those other guys will step up. But some winnable games, man. Versus South Carolina on Saturday at home. Arkansas comes in next week. I mean, they're ranked, but you should win that one. At LSU, you'll be favored in that one. At home against Mississippi State. And then you go to Tennessee. That'll be a tough one. At Georgia and then Auburn. I mean, the schedule's been tough, but they're 17-7 right now, fourth in the SEC. And I think that I really think that this team, even without Bediako, is turning a corner here.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, basketball to me is a lot like football. It takes a little time for teams to come together and figure it out. You lose Grant Nelson and Mark Sears. Leaders got to figure it out. You got to figure out who your leaders are and how to play together. And I know what last night, man, they found a way to get open. They found a way to get open and make shots. And my only fear is that long, athletic defensive team that pushes us out because we tend to kind of cower down against those teams. But hopefully put it together and figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Looks like we're doing that though.
Right.
The next Florida game will be pretty telling.
Yeah, I mean and Florida's kind of set the bar, and they're hard not to like. I mean, just the way that they do what they do, so that gives you somebody to shoot for. But I think Alabama can beat anybody this year.
Yeah. I guess we don't play Florida again.
We don't, but we'll see them.
Got them 1 year time this year.
Probably the tournament or something. Tied for fourth right now in the SEC.
Hey, let me tell you what. Since Nate Oates has shown up, that SEC tournament is one of my favorite. That is one of my favorite, sports, events there is. Every year, I love watching it.
Yeah. Yep, I do too. All right, brother. Well, good show, man. Good to see
All
you.
right.
A
Next
little
week.
longer than normal, but we missed last week because vacations and stuff. We got 2 in this week. I'm proud of that.
Oh yeah. Well, roll tide. Hopefully we're 2-0 at the end of this week.
There we go. All right, man. Hey, thank you guys again. We appreciate the gang at Patriot Roofing and Builders for helping us, being a part of what we do. The phone number right there on the top of the screen, 205-919-4494. They got you covered, man. I'm talking about Will and Justin. They answer when you call. They do it all. They got the business license to basically build anything, but specialize in roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and then the whole home renovations as well. Free inspection. So if you're thinking about something, put them on the list, give them a call, and tell them that you heard about them here on the Last Call with Jake Coker and Mick Gillespie. Also brought to you by Pearl River Resort, and their spokesman is someone that you guys probably recognize. Hour and change from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham, but it's a Vegas-style experience with the best slots in the South, and it's not that far of a drive. Plus, would this guy lead you the wrong way?
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll!
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.